Hello and welcome back to the channel. Your boy's back, and today I got an interesting video for you with a very interesting and awesome guy, my man Mike from Did You See That? Today we're going to be reviewing Teen Titans: The Judas Contract. Directed by Sam Leo, this movie came out in 2017, and this is actually the sequel to the Justice League versus the Teen Titans movie. Now, I probably should have had him watch the first one and then watch this one. I was just so excited to have him join me on a Teen Titans movie, and for some reason, the Judas Contract just stood out to me. So I'll probably have him on again for the Justice League versus the Teen Titans. Before I hand this off to Mike, I'm gonna sum up the plot a little bit for you. So in this movie, The Hive, which is run by Brother Blood, is kind of going through this ritual thing where basically Brother Blood is taking the powers of a lot of other people and feeding them into himself, or feeding them into this machine so that he can gain their power, their vigor, their blood as well, and so he can live longer and be stronger. Brother Blood, who is voiced by Greg Henry, is aligned with Deathstroke, who is voiced by Miguel Ferrer, rest in peace. One of the best DC characters in my personal opinion. So yeah, Brother Blood is joined by Deathstroke, and basically Brother Blood tells Deathstroke that, okay, this machine's ready. Now guess who I want?
I want the Titans. Can you do it?
This review is going to be spoiler-free, but just touching on some light things. Like nothing that will ruin the movie for you. Just things that I think you should know, but they won't be spoilers, so don't worry. In this movie, their Teen Titans are a little bit different than the ones that you've seen in the Teen Titans TV series. Instead of having Cyborg on the team right now, they've got Blue Beetle. It's voiced by Jake T. Austin, which, if I remember correctly, he is in Wizards of Waverly Place, or was in Wizards of Waverly Place, or like back in the day, and that's crazy to me. Like, that's awesome, you know, that's a nice come up. I'm sure he's done a lot of other things too, but that's pretty cool. And the other Titans are played by some other great people. You've got Stuart Allen, who plays Damian Wayne or Robin. There's Taissa Farmiga, who plays Raven, one of my favorite DC characters as well. Sean Maher plays Dick Grayson or Nightwing, easily in my top 3 DC characters, because I mean, Flash is number 1. Christina Ricci plays Tara, which a great character, and as you watch the movie, you will either love or hate her. You'll see. Brandon Suhu plays Bass Boy. Awesome, hilarious character. And Carrie Walgreen plays Starfire. So before I continue, I'm going to toss this over to Mike, so let's hear what he has to say about this movie.
Rob, my man, what is going on? Wow, honestly, how long has it sincerely been since we did that collaboration on As Above, So Below? Man, it's been so long. I'm hyped to be back on your channel, and thank you so much, brother, for this privilege and this honor for having me back. And today you've picked out a very interesting choice of movie. Now, yet again, I applaud you for choosing a movie I've not seen before, and this one is Teen Titans: The Judas Contract. Now, the funny thing is, and the curious thing about Teen Titans is, growing up, my younger brother is massive, more into like comics and animation movies. He's a big DC and Marvel fan, so he knows a lot about the Teen Titans. So when he used to watch Teen Titans, the original one on Cartoon Network back in the day, I learned a little bit about the characters, like, you know, like Starfire, Raven, Beast Boy, Cyborg, Robin, etc. So I knew that kind of like background, but I never really ever seen anything else besides that, apart from a couple of years ago. I'm pretty sure they did a film, Teen Titans at the Movies, or Go to the Movies, and I saw that one and I actually really enjoyed that one. So when you put me onto this Judas Contract, I didn't realise that obviously this was a sequel to the Justice League v the Teen Titans, which I would have loved to have seen. But anyway, man, you know, I said to Rob, I said, look, do I really need to know much about the Teen Titans? He's like, no, not particularly. So I'm going to go in this with just a little bit of expectation, because I knew a tiny fraction about the Teen Titans, but then for most part I didn't have a clue. So I'm sure by now Rob's probably touched on the plot, or he's going to touch on the plot. So let me just kind of give you my quick overall thoughts. This I found was to be a very pleasant, easy watch. I generally enjoyed this movie, and I also learned a bit more about the lore of Teen Titans, but I also felt like I learned a lot more about these characters, and I felt like I really learned and took something away from this movie in terms of I actually want to know more about the Teen Titans, and that is what this movie managed to establish. Now, would it have been better if I knew more about the Teen Titans before going into this movie? Absolutely. But I felt for if like it was a person like myself who maybe knows a tiny bit or even nothing whatsoever All the characters' names are addressed in this movie. You learn a little bit about them and their headquarters, their love interests, etc. Which, by the way, I will commend this movie for kind of going more of just like a parental guidance. They actually have like sexual toned themes throughout this movie, especially with Nightwing and Starfire. Man, those two are getting it on pretty rapidly by the sounds of it. But no, I actually really enjoyed it. I actually liked the villain's purpose for this. Yes, the villains could have been fleshed out a little bit more. Absolutely. I felt like the villains did serve their purpose and you really knew what they were going after and why they were doing that goal that they were trying to accomplish. For anyone who hasn't seen this, I don't want to give too many spoilers, at least not on my part. And there was certainly a lot of action and a lot of bad guys getting blown up or getting beaten, and then even our good guys getting beaten as part of this plan, and I actually really enjoyed that part. And I've got to commend the following people. So we've got Jake T. Austin, who plays Blue Beetle, and I recognised him from as Max Russo from Wizards of Waverly Place. Of course, you've got the legendary Christina Ricci, who was in the Addams Family back in the day. And I also want to give a big shout out to Miguel Ferrer, who, by the way, rest in peace, for my thoughts go with him and his family, who did die in 2017, but he voices Deathstroke. And by far, my favourite character in this movie was Deathstroke. I knew a little bit about him from like the live action DC movies, like the introductions that we've had of him. Really, I found him to be the most fascinating character. His voice work was the best. Don't get me wrong, the voice work all around was pretty solid. I actually thought they did a pretty good job, but Miguel Ferrer definitely stole the show as Deathstroke. Well, man, I actually really enjoyed this movie, and thank you for putting me on to it. What would I give it? Kind of my ranking systems, I would probably give it C, which is a 7 out of 10. I think it was pretty good, but there's definitely some things that could have been fleshed out more, and definitely a little bit longer of a runtime I think would have been very beneficial to this movie. But man, thank you so much for having me once again onto your channel. Really appreciate it, and I hope we can collab more. But until then, man, I'm going to hand it back over to you and your remaining thoughts on the Teen Titans and the Judas Contract.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you so much for joining me. It is my honor to have you in this video, bro. Again, I'm sorry that I had you watch this one and not watch the Justice League versus Teen Titans first, but don't worry, we're gonna get to that. One of the things that I really love about this movie is the kind of mature aspect about it. They, make several different puns, sex jokes. Like, as Mike said, Starfire and Robin seem like they're getting busy in there half the time, and I mean, he's not wrong. It's funny to me that in this animated movie, they just make so many of those jokes and like adult things, and it's cool because I like DC for the darker aspect, the gruesome aspect, or just the real aspect of stuff like that. One of the negatives I'd say is I kind of have to agree with Mike with the whole runtime. This movie in particular, because of what happens in the movie, obviously the title says the Judas Contract, so there is a big betrayal. I think if this movie had 35 more minutes to it, it would be even better. It's not bad by any means, but it's just, I feel like the whole plot is a little bit rushed. And I just feel like if there were at least 35 more minutes, we could have expanded upon some things, grown on some characters a little more. Another issue that I have, which isn't a big one, but it is still an issue, is just the dialogue sometimes. Sometimes the dialogue seemed a little bit dry, or that it just didn't really land, like the jokes didn't really land the way that they wanted them to. But on the flip side of that, there are some hilarious moments, especially between Dick Grayson and Damian. It's hilarious to see them interact, and just you can see the Batman in both of them. But obviously Damian, since he's a younger kid, he wants to be more like, Dick Grayson's just like, yeah, all right, bud. He's older, so he's like, okay, whatever. But I like the dynamic between the two of them.
Get out of that uniform?
Only when I bathe.
Might be time.
I'm good.
Overall, this movie was really well done. The director had a great vision, and I'm very pleased with what we got. I hope that there are more Teen Titans movies that come out. I'm sure there will be, but I hope that they continue on this version of the Teen Titans, because this version of the Teen Titans, it has to be my favorite, because they're a little older, it's a little bit more mature, even though I do love the cheesy aspect of the Teen Titans from the series back in the day. But I love these Teen Titans because it seems like it's a little bit more gruesome, a little bit more bloody, more mature, with like the sex jokes and a little like light cursing and everything. And I think I said it earlier, but I'll say this again. The way how Deathstroke is in this movie is absolutely near flawless. Miguel Ferrer, rest in peace, did a great job voicing him, like the inflections, the deflections, the aggression, the sarcasm, the charisma, everything you can just feel Deathstroke. So thanks for stopping by, guys. I hope you had a good time here with Mike and I from Did You See That? The link to his channel is going to be in the box down below. If you aren't subscribed to him, please do, because you're missing out on some awesome content. This man is growing. He's growing fast, and I can't wait to see where he goes, man. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and then hit the bell next to it so you can get a notification anytime there's a new video. All right, guys, thanks again for stopping by. Until the next one.